Hello everyone and welcome. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're watching from in the world. My name is Gogs the Captain Brown. Thank you very much for joining me tonight in the commentary booth. I am here to call the action for round 2 of Formula Racing League's PlayStation 5 Super Sprint Sunday Championship. The championship, of course, now in its 12th iteration. This is season 12, and just like a good whiskey, it just keeps on getting better. Tonight we are here at the legendary Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, situated deep within the Ardennes forest of Belgium, and it is, of course, one of my favourite tracks in the entire world. The variations of corners, the length of the track, the undulations, it is a true test for these pilots this evening. However, the sun has now gone down and we are going to be racing under the moonlight, just to add another challenge to the track. It is the longest track on the calendar in terms of lap time and distance. We have got here a circuit's just over 7 kilometres, I believe. Lap time over 2 minutes, 2 minutes 16, 2 minutes 17 will probably get you pole position this evening. We have got 2 races, so nice we're doing them twice tonight. We have got qualifying coming up in about 12 minutes time, and then we'll be moving on to our double feature races. We have 20 minutes. I'll just show you actually on the top right off the screen, just in case you are new to Super Sprint Sunday. We can see the schedule on the right hand side of the screen. We have a 20-minute race which will be at 10 PM server time, and then a 40-minute race which will be at 4 AM server time, so double the length. And we can see the circuit map there as well. That's going to appear in the bottom right of the screen all night tonight, so you can see just exactly where your favourite driver is on the track at any given moment. For qualifying, it will be important to see if they have a grey circle next to their number, they are on a valid lap. A blue circle means an invalid lap. That lap will not count, or a slow lap. They'll have to move out of the way. And they'll have a yellow circle if they are the reason for a yellow flag. It is going to be pretty hard this evening to keep track on exactly who is where with the lack of visibility. We will do our best to keep on top of that and use the driver tracker to our advantage as Clayton flies over the top of Radion. Looked very hairy for him there, but he's got under control now. So let's have a quick explanation of the championship just now. So this is Super Sprint Sunday. We do have multiple classes taking part. We have 3 classes in Super Sprint Sunday, 2 of which are in this server just now. We do have a concurrent server that's running at the same time as this one. They are going to be lapping pretty much at the same time, but on their own server. In this one we have the Pro tier and the Silver tier. Pro is on the left hand side denoted by the background of the numbers next to the drivers' names. So you see there A. Morgan has a white background to the number 5, that means they are a Pro driver. Whereas Dan Naisbitt, Sergei Karanchenkin in the 23 car, Michael Malnick's in the 41 car will be Silver, or Pro-Am, I think it is Silver we go by, the Silver tier with the silver background. So they will race on track at the same time. They are in their own respective championships, but there is no obligation for anyone to move out of the way for the other. They are racing in effect. So that's one of the features of this race. As it is a very long track, we're going to have quite a lot of field spread between the slowest and fastest times this evening, so those gaps on the left are going to look a bit more pronounced than they normally are. Let's have a quick rundown, I think, of the championship itself. And a quick check my voice is actually recording. Yep, sound test comes off. I apologise if you heard my own voice echo through there. Sound test definitely working. So let's have a look now at the current championship rundown as we open SimGrid. Quick reminder, oh, that was close there as Clayton flies through the gap between the two cars. Quick reminder, if you are interested in taking part in any of Formula Racing League's events, this is obviously Super Sprint Sunday on the PlayStation 5. We do have Taco Tuesday on Tuesday evenings and Late Night Thursday on Thursday evenings as well. You can take part in any of these by going to www.thesimgrid.com, following the Formula Racing League and getting all the details how to join the Discord and sign up for any of their events there. It is free to take part. You have a look at all the details on thesimgrid.com. So if you just hold on with me for 2 seconds as I have a quick look for the championship order for the Pro tier and AM tier. What we'll do is we'll come on board with one or two of these drivers and get a look at the track. How do they see the track when they're driving? So we're on board with Dybrell just now in the 85 Lamborghini. Going around Puhon Corner, and this is one of the few tracks I am versed in knowing what the corners are called, so I will be on top of that this evening, unlike I was last time at Kyalami. Super Sprint Sunday every Sunday, of course. Stream are starting 7:45, races at 8 o'clock. This is only round 2, so if you did fancy taking part next week, that is potentially an option for you. Places are limited, but you may be able to sign up as a reserve. That is an option as well. So the championship order, and also technically, I guess, yeah, championship order. So let's have a look at silver first. So in silver class, Dan Naisbitt currently leads the way, courtesy of his second and first place finishes at Kyalami. There he is, there in the pits in that Iron Lynx yellow liveried Ferrari. He's on 79 points. 2 points behind is G Harvey. Are they in the server yet? I'm not seeing them just now. There they are. They've joined the server. Still on their first outlap in the number 4 car. Third place, courtesy of a fantastic start to the season. Dazza Townsend finishing third and fourth. His debut podium, of course, in FRL puts him in third in the championship. Michael Mulnix in fourth. 10 points behind there with a 10th place and a second. So he finished second in race 2. Serpentine is 5th in the championship. Luke Richings 6th. Stu Rogers 7th. Harry Palmer 8th. Stoyanov is in 9th with Gedman 10th. Grafe 11th. Mornveg 12th. Zwarden 13th. Crunchinkin 14th. Trotman 15th. Don Javier 5th and 16th. Volten, Cooters, Dembrave, Serov yet to set positions in any races in the championship, and Camilleri, who I'm pretty sure we've seen there, currently running in P12 overall. There he is yet to set a time as well. Set a race finish as well. So the Pro Championship, again, these guys will be on this track at the same time. Currently sees in first, leading the way, Alex Morgan, courtesy of a double win last time out. There he is there in the black and green McLaren. In second we have Juho Mäkinen in the number 7 car, also second on track just now as well in the white and blue Porsche, the Flying Finn, round the bus stop there. Luke Prentice is currently third in the championship. Morgan Grace 4th, Andrew Eden 5th. Dario De Vita 6th, Lasku Lucas 7th, very unfortunate of course in the last race last time out. Excuse me. Iliev is 8th, Jay Wazer 9th, Thomas Walsh 10th, Mihoka 11th, Tom Hacker 12th, Dan Clegg, very disappointing start to his championship there, down in 13th. Jack Prentice 14th, Josh Clayton 15th, Damien van der Wal in 16th, Derek McCann 17th, Johnny Rennick, who's not participating this evening, 18th, Ziliotto 19th, and yet to finish a race so far, Matthias Deibrel, Mikael Barna and Craig Law. So 2.5 minutes left off this free practice session. I'm going to use this opportunity to talk about the way Formula Racing League is structured just now, for those who are maybe currently take part in some of their events but not all of them, or some people maybe just watching want to begin to take part. You can, like I mentioned it before, simgrid.com, all the events are there. This is the second race of the race week, so the race week is structured. So for example, late night Thursday this week will be at Indianapolis. Then the Super Sprint Sunday Championship next Sunday will be also at Indianapolis. And then the Taco Tuesday event will then be at Indianapolis. So all the three, so it goes Thursday, Sunday and Tuesday. A lot of people do sign up to the Thursday to get some practice in for the upcoming week. Some people do all three, some people just do Taco Tuesday, and that's absolutely fine as well. But all these lovely championships hosted by Formula Racing League are free for you all to join. Just check simgrid.com and have a little look. But one thing I do want to point out to all the drivers who are racing tonight, who will inevitably be watching the stream back, is the Patreon. Patreon, obviously, a way you can support Formula Racing League. For a very small sum, from £3 upwards, you can support Formula Racing League, but also support yourself. You will be supporting yourself, as for this £3 you'll get your very own Discord logo to use on all your socials. You will reserve your place in the championships and your car number, and of course you will have your live stream. Any live streaming you do will be posted to over 3,000 of Formula Racing League's members. They will get notified on their devices that you have started your live stream. So you're technically just investing yourself for less than an overpriced fancy coffee that you would buy. So one day this week, if you're one of the drivers here, please consider supporting Formula Racing League. Have an instant cup of coffee in the morning as opposed to an overpriced Northwest American fancy coffee instead, and support your own streaming, your own racing as well. As the checkered flag now fallen for practice, we've got a couple of cars still on a hot lap. Car number 4 is going to be completing a lap last across the line. That is G Harvey. He's going to hopefully try and set a time. Yellow flags out for car 32. A lot of cars on invalid laps as well. There's a bit of action actually just going on here. This is Deibrel being held up, it looks like, by a green Bentley. That's Jack Prentice, I'm pretty sure. It's great to see the Bentley back on the grid this season. The Bentley is one of my favourite cars. It is an absolute machine. It's a monster. Look at the size of it compared to the Lambo. The Lambo, a very big car as well, in terms of its width, but that Bentley just looks a tank, and Deibrel tries to nudge Prentice round. Fangio chicane. Oh, let's just say we're lucky this is still a practice, as car number 13 sneaks through there. I'm not quite sure who car 13 is. That's Camilleri. Oh, Camilleri, I like that name. That's a good name to pronounce, as he's just snuck through the two of them there. Hopefully that's the end of that aggro. No, he's pulled off, and that means we are now ready to start qualifying. Qualifying sessions at 9 PM server time, and nobody seems to want to go out. I will explain. The first 10 minutes of this, the first 13 minutes of this session is reserved for the silver class drivers to have exclusive use of the track during qualifying. As we just see Dan Naisbitt in the yellow liveried Iron Lynx. Just to explain, The car Dan Naisbitt was in for round 1, the white and red Ferrari, did not have the required endurance headlights. So he's had to swap over for this race, as it's at night time. He'll need those additional lights. Oh, he didn't know. So he is now coming round the track, and what I'm going to do for you guys, there is a hot lap video up on YouTube with all the lap times, of course, from late night Thursday's qualifying session. There is, of course, some drivers on Taco Tuesday who will still be using that to compare how they are doing with their setup work in practice. There is that hot lap there, but I'm going to jump on board with Dan Naisbitt for a lap of this fantastic track, this legendary track. You might find this season I call a lot of these tracks in this calendar legendary, because I do believe that the admin team at FRL have picked for very probably the 7 best tracks in the game for this season. I am thoroughly looking forward to bringing all of you the action and partaking myself, of course, in Taco Tuesday. I'll be driving around here as well. The forecast is to be a lot more wet than these pilots have tonight, but Dan Naisbitt's about to jump into the bus stop to start his first hot lap, and we're going to jump into his cockpit. So we're now on board with the Welshman. He's up through the gears. Listen to that Ferrari engine. This, of course, the older Ferrari. Down into last source, gets it down, cuts that inside chicane, into curb, sorry, very nicely. Now it's downhill, a very good acceleration section. Bring it over to the right and steel yourself for the legendary El Rouge. Cut the curb on the inside, swings it round. Is he flat? The back end looked to be twitchy, but I think he was flat as he comes over the crest at Radion, now up the Kennel Straight, and just waiting for the braking point to the Lecombe chicane. 1, 2, 3, right, left, right. Seems to have clicked both of those apexes nicely. The back end just wants to step out through the final part, but he's got it under control. Into the hairpin at Rivage, tricky turn in. You can almost treat this like a double apex corner. You don't want to go all the way out left, because you need to bring it to the right for the corner with no name. Just clipping the green section on the inside of that curb. Track limits lenient on the exit. Puhon corner, double left-hander, very hard to pick a reference point to turn in. But it looks like Naisbitt's got one somewhere. And the second part of the acceleration zone. Brake just at the gantry for the Fangio chicane. This is the first part. He's not quite hooked up the apex there. Might have lost a couple of tenths. The second part he has got perfect. Now this is the one corner I do keep forgetting the name off. It's a two-parter. The first part is very lenient on track limit, as you can see. A little bit of throttle modulation as he comes out of the second part, and that's the important part you need the good exits for, as he's now up through the gears. This corner is in the acceleration zone. The next again one, Blanchimont. Is it flat? A little confidence lift in the middle just to keep the lap valid. He needs to get a lap on the board. Hard braking zone into the bus stop. Cut as much of the chicane as you can without smashing into the sausage curb. And Dan Naisbitt now up through the gears and across the line and set a provisional time of 2:18.0. That's a good quick time. Richings now going to come over the line with Townsend shortly behind. Where do they end up? As Richings crosses the line, a couple of seconds down. Townsend as well, a couple of seconds down. G. Harvey goes 0.6 off Naisbitt's time, and it's going to be hard to keep track of what's going on, but if you look on the left hand side, we will do our best to keep you in touch with what's happening on the leaderboard. Very interested to see how the BMW driver does. The number 13 BMWs looked quick all through practice. He goes P2, 0.15 seconds off. Now Stu Rogers, one of the FRL admin team, coming round into the bus stop now. We'll see how he gets on here. Looked pretty smooth through the bus stop in the acceleration zone. Now he goes. Invalid. Lap time did not count. Gedman's back in the pits now as well. So we've had a couple of guys going round. We've got Daza Townsend now in the Pink Panther McLaren, going round Pujon. Not a big gap behind him. That is Harvey. Harvey will need to watch that gap. You cannot overtake in qualifying. It is one of the rules here in FRL. You cannot hamper someone else's qualifying lap. So Townsend in that striking livery. It's just so good to look into his windshield and just look really intensely at the details on the car as he flies on this very important corner that looks so close to the edge of track limits, the edge of what is allowed. Into the tricky, now this is the one Blanchimont. It's almost flat. It's flat if you've set the car up right. He's not quite on the apex, but he uses all of the exit curb. Now down, braking hard into the bus stop chicane. Doesn't quite hook up that first apex. Gets the second one though. He's now accelerating over the grasscrete, and does he improve? He does. He takes about half a second off his time. Good lap from Daza Townsend. Of course, it looks to have a glitch there actually with his driver display screen on his windshield. Does the Welshman in the number 9 McLaren. Now Stoyanov's just run wide there. That will invalidate the number 66 car's lap time, so he'll have to go again next time out. Paul Trotman in the Lamborghini Evo 2. This is of course my car of choice for Taco Tuesday this season. We'll see if Trotty Trots can get himself up from P12. Big improvement up to P6. This is what I was talking about. The gaps look big, but it's a big old track, and of course the drivers will be just building up their confidence lap after lap. You can really see the gradient of the hill there as they come down from La Source to El Rouge, and this is it here. This great camera shot there as Trotman smashes through the curbs. This Lambo, when I drove it on late night Thursday, was an absolute speed machine down this straight. I wonder if Trotman's found a way to set up to replicate that. I hope he has. He'll be an absolute menace down that back straight today, if he has. Naisbitt and Camilleri in the pits for some extra tyres. Maybe looking to go again perhaps. So the Porsche, the red, yellow and blue Porsche of Mr. Gedden, Mr. FRL himself. There's some debate as to who is the head admin. Maybe they'll settle it out on track. But Mr. Gedman does so much for FRL behind the scenes. It would be not right if I didn't call that out on the stream. So thank you very much for all the work that goes on behind the scenes and amongst their busy lives as well. So he's coming around the corner with no name now. I'm going to have a quick Google as to what the corner I forgot is called. Looks pretty tidy from the Scotsman just now. Through the Fangio chicane. He needs to get a lap on the board, does Gedman. He's currently not set a time and will be starting from the back if that is the case. As he comes through Stavelot 1 into Stavelot 2 now. Being very important, he looks to have maybe cut the track there. I'm going to just quickly cut to another car just to double check. He's not, he's still on a valid lap, is the Scotsman. So we'll follow this Iron Brew machine. I think he's been invalid there actually on the way into Blanchimont, but we'll follow him through and see if he gets a time on the board. Only 2 minutes 30 seconds remaining for silver. He's ran deep into the bus stop. Oh, maybe it's a little bit of lag. I'm not quite sure. I think he's a bit invalid. He has. He's not set a time, so he's only got a couple more laps to make something happen. Serpentine currently last off the time runners, 3.1 seconds down. Like I said, it is a 7-kilometre track, so that is a pronounced gap. Yellow flags out for Don Javier, who's spun at Pouon. Needs to be careful here because there's cars coming round the corner. Serpentine's lap could be ruined if he rejoins now. He gets through cleanly, 2:07 behind Palmer. Harry Palmer not on a timed lap. Good recovery back to the track from Don Javier there with the number 2 McLaren. Not long left in qualifying, a minute and a half for silver now. As Malnix comes across the line, can he improve as he starts his final lap? Not this time, he's got one more lap to see if he can jump up that order. Dan Naisbitt's put a cracking lap in there, 2 minutes 17.3. I think he's decided that is him for this qualifying session. Malnix flying through there. Did he cut that corner? He's not. He's still on a valid lap time as the helicopter picks him up over the trees off the Arden Forest. Braking point for Lecombe now. It's a cracking view. We're getting off this track. He cuts every inch he can off that corner. Car 215, that's Serpentine, has went straight on at La Source. And that will be the end of his qualifying session. Trotman's going to get across the line. Is Grafe, will Samuel Grafe get across the line to finish qualifying or to start his next lap? He does with about 13 seconds to spare. Is Townsend going to be last across the line now? 7, 6, 5, 4. Townsend is last across the line. So, car 79. That is Gedman. Can Gedman put himself on the board? He does. He gets a valid lap time, so at least he will have something on the board. So that's qualifying over for Gedman. As the pro drivers have just left the track now. Stu Rogers comes across the line. Can he improve? He doesn't improve. So it was Malnix now. Malnix coming across now. He's in the final sector. And then we've got Paul Trotman. And then a sea of pro class drivers ready to start qualifying. We're on board with Malnix into the bus stop for the final time in qualifying. He slams on the brakes. He's missed the apex. He's went deep. He only needs a couple of tenths to move up into P4. He's on the throttle now. He's up through the gears. Malnix does not improve this time either. So last man across the line, Paul Trotman in that Lamborghini. That looked a bit wild on exit. Coming out of Stavelot now. Onto this, I'm going to call it a straight. It's not a straight, it's a curved acceleration zone. But Trotman, the 246 Lamborghini, is got his foot down. Does he keep it planted? That sounded flat as he came through there. Hard on the brakes. Does he make the apex? That's a little bit better. He's went deep, but no, he's done. He's done. He's done for this evening. That is the end of his qualifying. So that is the silver grid set. We are going to jump on board with Morgan. And there's not a big gap behind Morgan, but I don't know if that'll be something that bothers him, because Morgan is out of the bus stop now to start his lap, and we're going to stick with Morgan for this lap in the number 5 McLaren. Matthias Dalbreel behind in the Lamborghini. A lot of Lamborghinis in the pro class. McLaren's been the car of choice for so long in Assetto Corsa Competizione. The LFM balance of power BOP now applied has limited that advantage. Ferrari, McLaren, Lamborghini, Bentley, old Ferrari, Audi, all kind of being brought together. Even the Mercedes looks quick now when we've applied this more level playing field. But Morgan uses his skill to still throw that McLaren round some of these amazing corners. And that's the thing with these classic circuits like Spa-Francorchamps. You know that because the corners are named, they are steeped in history. And Morgan's looking to add a little bit of history of his own. Round the Fangio chicane now, there is a little bit of a gap. Some yellow flags showing in the pit lane. I don't think they're actually legitimate. I think they are just a part of the game's coding glitching. Morgan looked to be absolutely perfect coming out of that corner. I am going to jump up to the top of the leaderboard in anticipation of this. Car 23 shown is still out on track. We'll check up on that one. Morgan now breaks into the bus stop chicane. Look at that, right over the curb. That is the line that you need to take. Track limit's very lenient on exit, as long as you keep 2 wheels on the curb. And Morgan goes to provisional pole, 2 minutes 17.025, and now the timing board is going to tumble. Dan Clegg nearly a second down. Let's jump on board with De Vita as he comes through the bus stop chicane. Where does De Vita stack up in this stacked grid? Down in P20, 3 seconds off the pace. So the silver tier mixing it with the pro tier this evening, at least in qualifying. A couple more cars still to go out and set a lap time. This is Luke Prentice in the AMG Mercedes. Very nice looking colour scheme on Luke's car, it has to be said, as he's dancing with that curb on the exit. The curbs of course do shred the tyres, but they can help hook your car round the corner if you hit them just right. Nails the apex through Blanchimont. He's went deep. He's went deep into the bus stop, and that was signal at the end of his lap, but he'll get to line up very nicely for the start of his next one. Josh Clayton in there behind the SBR car. The SBR Ferrari 500 comes across the line and moves up somewhere. P4 overall, that's a cracking lap. So as it stands just now, Morgan is going to start alongside Dan Naisbitt in silver class. Mackinnon, Clayton and Clegg behind the Camilleri in the 13. Grace, Crunch, Inkin, Harvey, Palmer, Mulnix, Walsh, Dalville, Rogers, Mihoka, Trotman, Eden, Hacker, Law, Townsend, Stoyanov, Serpentine, Grafe, Don Javier, De Vita, Richings, Prentice and Gedman for all the cars who have currently set a time. Jay Wazzer, and again I have to say this again, that Bentley just looks like it's the sign of a gentleman racer, isn't it? He's went deep. That aircraft carrier has went straight on at Puhon corner, so he'll have to go again. Eliev's still in the pit lane. So one person I want to have a look at tonight actually is C. Law in the 226. As Hacker goes into P20 now as well. Law joined late today as a reserve, so he's jumped in to make the grid up. With 34 drivers in server, it is a packed grid, a lot of cars on track at the same time. But this is one of the few tracks that you will not see that particularly traffic jam you normally get. Law is a very quick driver on his day, currently down in 21st as he joined today. May not have got much practice in as the sun sets here in Belgium. Luca looking to jump on his great start to the FRL Sunday season as he power slides out of the hairpin into the corner of No Name. Some cars moving out of the way for him. He's done, he's moved over. He's going back to the pits for some freshies, some fresh boots on that car. Morgan still out there lapping 2:16.8. Now that is into the region where I did predict the pole time would be this evening. We'll see if Morgan can jump any higher on that one. Dan Clegg, the Race Club UK driver from the 20 Lamborghini. 1.3 off the pace just now, is the leading Lamborghini in the field. Jump on board with him, there we go, on board with the Lambo driver. So he breaks it roughly the same spot under the gantry as we've seen Dan Naisbitt do in silver. 3 minutes 50 of qualifying left. That is under 2 extra laps here at Spa, such as the length of the track. He really has used every available millimetre coming round there. He's still within track limits somehow. No, he's not. He has ran wide and invalidated this lap, so he'll need to go one more time. So let's have a look. Dario De Vita in the number 21 Ferrari currently sits P19, 2.2 off the pace. We're going to jump on board with this Ferrari as he tries to tackle El Rouge. He's so close to that wall. A slight confidence lift from the Ferrari driver as he goes over Radion. Still quite late, it must be said, for after 9 o'clock in the server. Expecting the sun to fall very shortly. So who's out there just now that can make an impact? It's very tight in the midfield. So from about 6th to 18th is about a second. It looks like De Vita's maybe went a little bit wide into the corner that I have now forgot. The new corner I forgot. I've got a finite amount of brain space. As they watch a car in the background, they're getting very wide as well. Walsh, one of the few, I think the only Audi in the field, actually. In the 174 Audi. Not seen one of them on track for a while, at least not in the last season or so. They've been quite rare. Very difficult to drive. They're very quick, don't get me wrong, but difficult to get the consistency and set up just right. 1 minute 46 left to go. So I think those guys, there may be some guys on their last qualifying laps. And one of those people who needs to get a move on is Jack Prentice in the 678 Bentley, that green machine, the new mint baby. So let's see, he's going into the com now. It does look like a big chonky car, doesn't it? Into the corner with no name. The helicopter really does show the lines that you have to take, the sort of later apexes with a lot of these corners. The Bentley did look a bit more glued that time around. Jack Prentice hustling the Bentley. This will very likely be his final lap off qualifying. I'm not sure if he'll get round in 27 seconds. Same with Mäkinen behind as well. Mäkinen will need to set a good time also. There he is there, just in the back of shot as Prentice comes through this final corner before the long back acceleration zone. He's not got long now, and Tom Hacker just in front of us actually going to cross the line for the... Oh no. We're on drive there, we've lost the feed. There we're back, we've lost the feed briefly for a second. So back on board with Prentice as he comes through the bus stop chicane. Can he improve? He's in 25th just now. He moves to 24th. That Bentley not working. Car number 7, that's Mäkinen now, comes across the line. Doesn't improve from P4 either, so Mäkinen's not improved. 4th is the highest, he'll start. Matthias Dallebriel in the 85. Lamborghini now coming across the line. Can he improve? Does he move up from P18? He does, he's up into 15th. It's a good lap. Morgan crosses the line, does not improve. 979, that's Mihuka just behind, doesn't improve either. So now car 20. Mark Conway in chat. Who did Nez bribe to get in the silver class? That is a fantastic question, and I would like to know because I want to make the same bribes. Sunday, I missed that one that popped up there. I should probably open the YouTube chat actually as we watch Dan Clegg come round the final corners now, the final chicane. Can he improve? He's second just now, half a second behind Morgan, but if he's improved so far, he might move up as he crosses the line. He does improve, but not the position. Dan Clegg in P2, he'll start no higher than second. We've got one more car out on lap, and that is Josh Clayton. So let's jump on board with the last driver as we turn up to Blanchimont, 160 miles per hour. Not ahead of lifting, some cajones in that Ferrari. And he's nailed the final apex as well. Does he improve? He's missed that last one. Might cost him a 10th. His foot's down now. As we look back on what could have been for Josh Clayton. He's still in 5th. Did improve, 0.6 behind. And that is the end of qualifying for Super Sprint Sunday Tier 1 between Pro and Silver here at Spa-Francorchamps. So let's have a quick review off the grid for this evening's 2 races. Starting with the silver class, we have got Chris Gedman, Luke Richings in 14th, Don Javier 13th, Grafe 12th, Serfontein in 11th, and Stoyanov will start on the back of row 5. Townsend alongside in 9th, Trotman in 8th, Rogers in P7, Malnix in P6, Palmer alongside him on row 3, Gareth Harvey will start on the second row in 4th with a great lap from Krajinkin in 3rd. Camilleri makes his debut to the series in P2, and Dan Naisbitt will take pole position in silver class. For overall, I'm going to run through all the names, so some of them may get a double mention. We have got Morgan in pole position, Dan Clegg a couple of tenths behind, 3 tenths down in second. Did make the fastest final sector of anyone, so we'll see if that has anything that helps in the race. Dan Naisbitt 3rd, Mäkinen 4th, Clayton 5th, Luca 6th, Walsh 7th, Hacker 8th, Mihuka 9th, Camilleri in P10, Law in 11th, Grace 12th, Krajinkin 13th, Eden 14th, Barner 15th, Dialbrail in 16th, Harvey 17th, Palmer 18th, Malnix down there in 19th, but only 6th in class, Prentice 20th, That's Luke Prentice, DeVita 21st, McCann 22nd, Rogers 23rd, Prentice 24th, Trotman 25th, Townsend 26th, Stoyanov 27th, Serfontaine, Grafe and Donjavier round up the top 30. Luke Richings, Chris Gedman, Jay Wazer and Iliev, two at the back there, did not set a time. We have 34 people in both races to start. So congratulations, Morgan, for your lap time there. 2 minutes and 16 seconds, 0.8 is the target for the pro drivers. As the drivers now set the grid, provisionally at least for the race, and we can see how much darker it now is. Luke Pice Moore saying Camilleri. Sorry, Camilleri. Can't say it. I can't say it. I can't say it. Camilleri. He writes it with 12 eyes in the chat. So that's, like I said, if you're in the chat there, please give a mention with your favourite driver. Let me know who you want to see. I'll give you an update on their race. Yep, it's pronounced Camilleri. 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 This accent does not help with any name from the continent, so I do apologise in advance. It's a miracle that I'm getting Crunch-Inkin pronounced correctly, so we'll just take what we can go, and he might be the number 13 BMW for the rest of this race, but I'll give it a shot. I'm sure I'll forget, so thank you very much for that one in chat. 1 minute 44 left. Right now the drivers, just for a bit of context, they're looking at the track temperature, the air temperature, the weather forecast, which looks to be dry for the rest of the race. To be honest, it looks like it's going to be a dry one, but cloudy, keeping the track nice and cool. So just right now what they're doing is they're tweaking their pressures, their tyre pressures, their fuel loads, making sure they've got the correct amount of fuel on board. Of course, carrying any extra fuel will slow you down. Fuel equals weight equals additional tenths of a second, and they obviously want to be as fast as possible. Things to look out for on this first lap. So they're going to be starting here, and they'll do a full lap round to this exact point in between La Source and El Rouge. This is the endurance start line, but the finish line is the same as the Formula 1 finish line. So on the bottom right of the map there, you'll see a checkered flag on the map, a checkered line. That is technically the finish line. This will be the start line with the red lights currently showing there, just on the left middle of the screen.
30 seconds.
They're going to go out here, they're going to do a very slow formation lap, make sure everything's working in the cars. As they all turn on now, you see the lights beginning to come on.
20 seconds.
They're going to, as they come on now, that's them confirming everything is good to go, and they have got everything set up as they
10 seconds.
wish. If they do not get the car going now, they will have to start the race from the pit lane. So we'll keep an eye on anyone jumping over to the pit lane on the right hand side. It looks like they've all accepted to start the race, so we await Morgan getting the formation lap underway. There he goes. So we're going to be doing a very slow lap now, just getting the brakes and tyres up, a little bit of temperature in them. And as they come round to this section again, we will go racing. It's a motor race. We're going to go motor racing. So, pinch points, things to look out for on lap 1. Obviously El Rouge Radion, the two corners they've just went through just now. As these guys are going through here, this is going to get very tight as they fly through here on lap 1. Drivers need to be extra careful and not end the race prematurely, because a crash there is very, very high speed and will have you in the pits for minutes repairing that damage. They'll fly down this long straight, the Kemmel Straight. And this will be where they're slipstreaming each other, looking to make the overtakes And it's a very long straight here. You're talking maybe 160, 170. Some cars might break 170 at the end of that straight there. So it's very important to get the braking right as well. For Le Com, the chicane, the right, left, right. This is where you'll see a lot of overtaking this evening. Just up ahead, the drivers are coming to, and I've forgotten the name of this corner. I think it's Ravage, this hairpin here. It's a double apexed corner. There will be overtaking here as well. You can go around there 2x2, but the outside inevitably will lose out. But the outside round there gets you for this corner here. The inside, this is the corner with no name. It does have a name now, but I don't know it. I'm not going to learn it. Up ahead, we have Puhon Corner. This is not what you'd call a stereotypical overtaking zone. This is one line through your double apex corner. One of the fastest corners on the calendar, about 100, 110 miles per hour. Then a short straight. Overtaking does happen here with people making mistakes through Puhon Curve into the Fangio chicane. It is possible to overtake through this section. It is also possible to have a massive crash in this section as you approach from very high speeds. Now the corner at the end of the twisty section, the end of sector 2, is called Stavelot. And then we come to curve Paul Frere. This long right-hander here, this very important corner to get yourself on this long back, non-straight. Again, up to speeds of 150, 160 mile an hour by the time you reach Blanchimont. So we'll just have a little look here. Can we get an onboard? There we are. So this is the important corner. If you can get flat out through there and keep it within track limits, it sets you up very nicely to slipstream the car ahead all the way down this back straight, and this is going to be killing the driver, this long straight here. We'll come on board with Eden. This is Blanchimont curve, and again this is where it could be a massive move or a massive crash in the race. One line through there as well, a lot of runoff area, but it is very bumpy. And then of course the bus stop chicane with the hardest braking zone on the track, down from about 160 down to 40 miles per hour. As we now await Morgan lining the grid up. Now I don't think they're going to be starting at this section, but they will need to get themselves now in position for the start of this, one of the finest tracks in the world. The finest drivers on Assetto Corsa Competizione, and the finest racing league on Discord, Formula Racing League. As we now come round, the drivers are now bunched up as we come round what is the final corner of the formation lap, but the first corner on the track, La Source. We're on the start grid now, the pressure building, the butterflies building in the stomach. This is it, this is what all comes down to, this is what we've been waiting for. We await the green light to start round 2 of Formula Racing League Sprint Sunday.
Green light.
And we are green. We are underway for round 2. It's a great start by Morgan. There's tucks in, there's contact with Naisbitt and Mackinnon as they come through El Rouge at the start there. Everyone looks to have got through relatively cleanly, nothing major. Some cars running wide, but doesn't look like there's any major contact, at least not for the start of the race anyway. Some sparks flying, some side-by-side action, but up front it is Morgan who leads Clegg, and look at them all coming through the back there. Look at them vying for position. I'm going to keep an eye on some of these, or try to at least as they come through, but they've all got through relatively well. This is where the first sort of action points, the contact's going to happen. If it's going to happen, it's going to be here. But they've all got through relatively fine and no major incidents so far. Up the front of the grid, it's Morgan, leads Clegg, leads Mackinnon, leads Luca. Naisbitt currently first, but got Clayton all over his back end. Currently first for silver. Everyone seems to have got through relatively well. Tom Hacker had a great start as well. Got Jenkin under pressure. We've got Eden just in front, but it's G. Harvey for position into the Fangio chicane. Nothing happening this time around. It's very clean driving by the entire field. Absolute credit to yourselves so far. Townsend down in 25th there just now. Keeps his nose clean, at least for the main part, at least so far. Gedman down there as well, keeping his nose clean, getting moving. Morgan comes through Blanchimont first. It's very close there. Dan Naismith almost been held up by Luca coming through that curve. Everyone else seems to be getting through relatively well so far. So up in front, Morgan takes the lead on the first lap. Dan Clegg in second and Mackinnon in third. They come round to El Rouge and Radion for lap 2. We can see the lights there in the background as these cars fly over the crest. It really is a joy to watch them fly around here. That Audi is... Oh, something in the wall! Who is that? We've got a car in the wall. It's hard to see who that is. That is the 22 something car. 226, that's Law. Law in the wall at El Rouge and bouncing off the walls there as they come down the Kemmel Straight. Unfortunately, that doesn't look good for him. We've also got some cars in the pits there. That's the 215, 226, that's 246, car number 2 and car 79. So that's Paul Trotman, Don Javier, and I'm not 100% sure who 79 is. That's Gedman. Gedman's been in the wall as well somewhere. Oh my dear me, what a start. Unfortunate start for them. Dan Clegg beginning to now make a little bit of inroads into Morgan. The gap, withdraw that statement, it's still 1.5 seconds. As the leaders come through, it's Morgan, Clegg, Mackinnon and Luca. So these two are looking pretty feisty just now. This is Barna we're watching. We're on board with Barna. We've got Matthias Divrio just in front. Look at this close action that you get with Formula Racing League as they come through. Blanchimont, he's hit the curb. That's going to unsettle the car, but he keeps it under control, at least for the main part. But that's opened the door potentially for Prentice. And look at the car steaming down the back. Prentice on the Sutters Cup to avoid contact. Malnix is now very tempted. Almost a little contact, a little door banging there between Prentice and Malnix. And we've got Palmer joining the action here as well. Malnix on the outside of last source. That's not going to work out in his favour. But let's see what happens now. Down on the run through El Rouge for the third time. Malnix under pressure. The Aston Martin of Palmer, of course, absolutely lightning in a straight line. Cars getting a little bit squirrely over the top of that crest. They need to be careful with track limit warnings. Car 2 is just rejoining in the background there. They're side by side into the column, and this is what I meant with the close overtaking action. Prentice on the right hand side, Malnix on the left. And Prentice squeezes Malnix on the inside of that middle part of the chicane. Action, of course, all through the field. I am sorry, I can only show you one screen at a time. And nothing doing this time around. Iliev's made some good progress through the field so far. This is the Vita on the back of Prentice. and that's his brother Luke as well. So while we've got a couple of seconds, let's have a quick rundown of what has happened. Morgan is out in front and beginning to now scamper away, as we've seen him do at Kyalami. Dan Clegg currently running in P2 behind, giving chase. A much improved performance from the Englishman in the 20 Lamborghini from last time out. Juho Mäkinen is in third and keeping Clegg honest, actually pulling him in a little bit in the Porsche. Lasku Luka started off where he meant to finish, or at least meant to finish at Kyalami. Involved of course in two incidents, weren't his fault last time out, hoping to try and make something of this quick sprint race. Dan Naismith leads the way for silver. He's got Josh Clayton looking to fight his way past to make him inroads on Luca. We'll see what happens with that one. Of course, Naismith has no obligation to move out of the way as they both fly over Radion there. Walsh just in behind in the Audi, very quick car in a straight line. I'd be surprised if Mahuka makes any inroads there. Tom Hacker, good performance from them so far. Cam Ildieri in P10 in the 13 BMW, just tucked in behind Hacker there and pulled along very nicely. Eden in 11th, Krunjinkin in 12th, Dialbrail 13th. Gareth Harvey in 14th, Barner 15th, and Luke Prentice in the Mercedes we've seen earlier on in 16th, under pressure from Milnick's just behind. Harry Palmer in the Aston Martin. Stu Rogers, also one of the FRO admins, in P19. Jack Prentice, I should mention they're both Prentice brothers, also in the admin team. Dario De Vita 21st, McCann 22nd, Iliev 23rd, Daza Townsend 24th, I think just been overtaken by Iliev. No, that's Luke. Who's that in front? Who's in the red car in front there? We need to work that one out. Graves in the pits. Samuel Graves had an incident. He's in the pits. Stoyanov 26th. Gedman's now rejoined at the back, just in front of Don Javier. Paul Trotman 45 seconds behind them. And I think Law and Serpentine, the other car involved, not partaking, at least at this time. My apologies, car 226 has just rejoined. That is Law. Law has rejoined the race. Gedman is showing as in the... No, it's Grafe, my apologies. So we're currently watching the battle for second. This is Dan Clegg and Juho Mäkinen. Mäkinen gathering a Glassoo and tying it to the back of Clegg's rear wing and just pulling himself in hand over hand just now as they fly through this amazing corner again. Absolutely incredible bravery. So what's going on here? Big battle going on here. This is Barner and Harvey. This is not for position in championship, but it is on the track as they both get through neatly, but that's allowed Prentice to catch up with the back. He's going to have to lift off. He pushes his way through. Absolutely incredible from Prentice, but now the big AMG Mercedes is pushing his way through. Can he get in front of Barner into Lecombe? Harvey's went deep on the brakes across the grass, and that's contact. That looked like contact. Barner hitting Prentice and Harvey getting involved as well as they fall through the back of the grid. Rogers taking advantage of that situation with Palmer, and now Jack Prentice side by side with Clayton. So not Clayton, that's Harvey. Harvey, the big loser in that situation as they all get closely packed together. Absolute adrenaline pumped racing action here at Formula Racing League. Nothing less than what you would expect. Sim racing at its very best. It's Harvey again. My apologies, Clayton. I keep mistaking the two of your liveries in the SBR cars. Oh, he's lost the rear coming out of Pujols. He's in the wall. He's spinning. He's smashed into the side of the wall. The number 4 car. And that is their race at least for the moment, ruined as some cars attempt to come through now. He'll need to be careful when he's rejoined, but he's got plenty of space to rejoin now. That's a big smash from Harvey, and it's good to see him rejoining. So let's check in with our resident Iron Lynx car hopper, Dan Naisbitt. Currently running 6th on track, first in class. He's got a couple of seconds gap to Cam Ellery in the number 13 BMW. A couple of cars in between them, all fighting for position. I'm going to have a quick look back now at Stu Rogers, because look at this train that has developed. They've got Rogers, Palmer, Prentice. There is a crash back there. That looked like DeVita. DeVita and Iliev coming together at La Source. They need to be careful when he's rejoined that he doesn't interrupt anybody's lap. So that's pretty much ruined the little bit of commentary I had planned there, as Rogers has moved out a little bit of gap there from Palmer out of Radion, and Palmer's under pressure from that mint green baby Bentley. That Bentley just chews up those curbs as if it's breakfast, lunch and dinner, and it being the time of night, it is a midnight snack as well. That Bentley, of course, has been on a diet. The balance of power taking nearly 40 kilograms out of that car. That's the weight of a small person, to be honest, being taken out of the car. So it's like everyone else has an extra small person on board. So from car 500, there's a little bit of a train beginning to form here. We've got Josh Clayton, Dan Naisbitt, Walsh, Mihoka, Hacker, Camilleri and Eden, all kind of pretty close together here. But look at the close, and there's almost pushing Hacker out of the way there. That would look almost like contact. They're side by side now in this acceleration zone. That BMW is no slouch in a straight line, of course. And that looks very interesting. I don't know if we'll see if that's the end of that one. But Camilleri is now moved up a place and one step closer to Dan Naisbitt for first in class. Little look back the way, Crunch Inkin is holding his own, to be honest, with the two pro drivers around him. He is flying just now. Apologies, I need a quick drink there. I don't know if you can tell, my voice is just slowly beginning to go in. Rogers has opened up a little bit of breathing room to Harry Palmer behind, and it's Palmer who's still under the pressure from the Bentley driver. Quick look through the field. It looks like Townsend's got himself back in front of McCann. McLaren versus Lamborghini. Lambo has the slipstream on the straight, but the McLaren is notorious for its straight line speed. Townsend's rear end gets a little bit squiggly, a little bit loose, a little bit hairy there on the curb. So this is the battle for second. We've got Juho Mäkinen. He's kind of been sort of stopped there at that, just between sort of 0.7 of a second to a second to the Lambo driver in front. The gap, he definitely looks the faster driver just now. He looks a lot more confident at least. So we're on board with the Porsche just now. Let's just listen to see if he lifts. Sounded like a slight confidence lift. We've got a car off track. That looks like Chris Gedman. Chris Gedman off at Curve Paul Frere at the start of the third sector as he recovers to the track. Now, not a race he'll be looking to remember. So who have we got battling just now? Car off track. That's 979. That's Mihuka. Mihuka is falling down the order now. He's off track. That is halfway down the Kemmel Straight. Looks like a lot of damage on the front of that Lamborghini. Maybe beating the wall on the exit of El Rouge Radion. Possibly. That's going to bring out the yellow flags coming down there. Does he look to rejoin? That is the question. Or has he had an issue? Has he maybe had a personal emergency at home? He's maybe had to leave and park his car safely. We'll find out a bit more on that one. But that is some positions going to be made up for the cars behind him. That is for sure. But yellow flags down the Kemmel Straight, stopping any overtaking. Mackinnon's now got the gap down. Yep, confidence lift there as well. So I keep going quiet. I'm looking to see how the guys lift at these key corners off the track. Of course, not necessarily quick. Hi Toby in chat there. F1 Toby 55. This looks like such a good league. I am glad you think so. I do my best to bring it to you guys every single Sunday. It is, in my opinion, sim racing at its very best. It just so happens that is the tagline for Formula Racing League as well. If you are interested, Toby, check out www.thesimgrid.com and follow Formula Racing League. The problem is I'm PS. I can't find anyone who is PS. If PS means PlayStation, this is on PlayStation 5. We are on PlayStation 5 just now. This is a PlayStation 5 league. So by all means, Toby, thesimgrid.com, follow Formula Racing League. There's 3 championships on PlayStation for you on PlayStation 5 to choose from. There is Late Night Thursday, which as the name suggests, Thursday evenings. Taco Tuesday every Tuesday night. And of course this one here, starting at 8 PM every single Sunday, here live on at FRL Race Hub. So thank you very much for tuning in, Toby. PS4. There are some PS4 league ticking about as well. Unfortunately, this is not one of the league support. We don't support PlayStation 4 anymore, but do give us a follow, because as always, people are always upgrading all the time. Keep us in mind, absolutely, and give us a follow. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I hope you're enjoying the action so far. It doesn't look like Mackinnon's closing in any further on Clegg. Let's have a look to see who else is battling through the field. The Prentice brothers in their 2 aircraft carriers, the AMG Mercedes and the Bentley, both fighting. It looks like Luke has just overtaken Jack, actually, on track. The Bentley did look a bit of a handful earlier on. But these two, of course, battling in class, of course. This is for position in the championship. Oh my god, we're 20 minutes already. We've missed Morgan crossing the line. Morgan, congratulations. 9 laps and fastest lap. Dan Clegg comes home in second. So much going on. We've lost track of the timer. Luca, redemption story for the young Romanian. Takes home P4. Clayton in 5th. Dan Naisbitt eventually let him go. Takes 6th with Walsh 7th. Camilleri in P8. Hacker is going to come across the line with Eden 9 and 10. Oh no! Walsh 7th, Camilleri in 8th, Hacker 9th, Eden 10th, Krunjinkin 11th, Dialbiel 12th, Barner 13th, Molnix 14th, Palmer and Prentice still racing. Palmer across the line. Prentice and Lucan Jack across the line. Very close indeed. Dazza Townsend comes home in P18. McCann 19th. Richings 20th. Stoyanov 21st, I think, just now anyway. Iliev just behind, made his way through the field. No, he's not. Who is that behind? That's a lapped car. My apologies. That's Don Javier. Iliev's going to come across, and Rogers must have been in, had an incident. There are, of course, some drivers still racing. Rogers on his own just now. Who have we got still out there? Car 33. That is Grafe. Harvey's out there as well. We've seen his smash in the wall earlier on. Harvey's got a drive through for track limits, and he's deep. He's very deep into the corner there as well. Is that Rogers? Rogers struggling. That's Rogers. Rogers has difficulty there as well. He's dropped down the order. Where's he going to finish in this mass melee at the end? Oh, that's a big crash there, and can't do that at the end of the race as German now crosses the line as well. My apologies, lost track of what's happening at the end there. De Vita is still lapping as well, so we're going to get a bit of screen time for Danny De Vito's cousin as he flies round the bottom of the track at the start of Sector 3. We can see the damage on the front of that Ferrari. I need a drink, to be honest. My voice is beginning to go. We lost track of the time there just because of how much action was taking part. And that's what happens when you have the best drivers on PlayStation 5 on Assetto Corsa Competizione at the best track in the world. To channel my inner Jeremy Clarkson there. And across the line. So that is the end of race 1 here on Super Sprint Sunday. So let's run down the order. Morgan adds to his 2 wins at round 1 with another win and the fastest lap of the race. Dan Clegg finishes P2, 6 seconds behind, and held off Mäkinen for 3rd in the end. Luca will finish in P4, Clayton in 5th. Dan Naisbitt finishes in P6, Walsh in 7th. Cam Illeri in P8. I'm going to get there. I am going to get that name right by the end of this race. Hacker in P9 overall. Eden 10th. Kronchinkin in 11th. Dybril in 12th, only half a second behind. Barner behind there with Mulnix with a good performance in P14. Palmer in 15th. Luke and Jack finishing side by side. Only a couple of tenths separating them. Dazza Townsend with a solid finish there in P18 in the Pink Panther. McCann in 19th, Richings 20th, Stoyanov 21st. Iliev battled through the field from the pit lane, from the back of the grid, after not setting a time in qualifying, finishes 22nd. Rogers 23rd, De Vita 24th, Don Javier 25th. Chris German 26th. Trotman 27th, Harvey 28th. Mioka 29th, Grafe 30th, Law after the big crash there 31st, Serfontaine 32nd, Jay Wazza 33rd, and Grace 34th. I am going to take a quick break just now, and I will be back. I'm going to get a refreshing drink. Do not go anywhere. I will be back in about 30 seconds. Thank you. Hold there. Okay, okay, we are back. We are back. Thank you very much for waiting. I am now rehydrated. I am good to go, hopefully, for the next 40 minutes. We have got a 40-minute race this time. I don't know if tyres will be an issue, but the tyre wear will definitely be a lot higher this time around as we go for double the distance. First race was so nice. We are doing it twice. Dan Naisbitt there in the chat, winning silver class, of course, last time out, saying he's running on empty, pretty much lacking sleep. It sounds like from his comment. Eyes are half closed down the Kemmel Straight, getting a quick power nap in as he runs down there. A little bit of a snooze, a little bit of a sing-song maybe, just to keep himself alert. But great performance considering. Great performance not considering, to be honest, in the first race. We'll look to see what he does in race 2. So, we're 1 minute 41 off the start of the formation lap. Again, drivers just tweaking. Toby there in chat, let me just explain to you what's going on. I think you may missed the start and you're new to Formula Racing League, so let's explain. Super Sprint Sunday is a double header every single week. We have a 20-minute sprint race and then a 40-minute sprint race. No mandatory pit stops, of course. Pit stops sometimes are needed. We'll have 2 races here and both races count towards the championship. We have 2 classes in the field. The Pro class, denoted by the numbers on the left hand side of your screen with the white background, and the Silver class with the silver background. Very similar to maybe having Formula 1 and Formula 2 racing on the same track, only all the cars are of the same speed and same build, same kind of design. There's 2 separate championships running at once. The silver obviously fighting each other and the pro fighting each other, and the unique way this is set up is nobody has to give way to any other car unless of course there are blue flags. If they are all on the lead lap, they will be free to fight each other, to be honest. It's up to them if they want to yield position. So we've got 15 seconds left to go for this session.
10 seconds.
For the start of the formation lap for race 2. Yep, F1 leagues, of course. A lot of people start their sim racing journey out in Formula 1 racing leagues, but this is a Seto Corsa Competizione. We are now awaiting, there we go, Morgan gets us underway for the formation lap for race 2. So, you want racing? You want hard racing action? You better call somebody! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, guys, gals and non-binary pals, Gordon the Captain and FRL proudly present to you sim racing at its very best. We've got Dan Naisbitt in the 242. We've got Chris Gedman, the grass cutter. We have the FRL admin team. Yes, I was asked to say that out loud. No, I didn't lose a bet, but I will be bringing you some fantastic one-liners or six-liners in that case every single week. Yeah, we are now awaiting the start of race 2. Thank you very much for your patience listening to my absolutely useless chat throughout the break there, trying to keep everyone a little bit entertained. Thank you, Ed. My voice is nearly gone after race 1, but thank you very much, Ed. I will stop short of singing. So, currently been told 15 people watching just now. Thank you very much for watching us. I hope you stay with us for this next 40 minutes. We've got 40 minutes of hard, intense, high-octane, pulsating action. Some battles all through the field. Jazz would be proud. So for context, just yesterday, took part in an 8-hour endurance race on this game, and one of our teammates was sitting there driving down Monza on the start-finish straight, putting in fastest laps of the race while singing a little bit of John Denver, Country Roads. That was an absolute sight to behold, to be honest. I'll be impressed if anyone here is doing that, to be honest. Oh, we've got a car in the pit lane. One car starting from the pit lane, just take note of that. That is car 85. Who is that? Who's car 85? That's Matthias Dybril. Dybril opting to start race 2 from the pits. Interesting choice. So, we're currently looking at A. Morgan, Dan Clegg, Dan Naisbitt as well in the silver class starting P3, Mackinnon in P4, Clayton P5, Luca, who I would call the most must-see sim racer in FRL. He's 16-year-old Romanian, just started out not too long ago, and the guy is absolutely lightning quick. We'll keep an eye on his race this evening as things progress. The drivers now weaving left and right, getting the tyres up the temperature, or at least most of them are. Dan Clegg not fancying that at all. He's thinking about keeping his tyres in the perfect operating window. We come round towards the end of the formation lap, and of course for anyone new to this game, and I've accidentally, oh no, I've lost the camera angles. Let's get us to the lead at least. Right, there's Morgan and there's the helicopter shot. So I need to quickly change this. So just if you're new to this game or new to Formula Racing League or even Assetto Corsa Competizione, this is not the starting line. This is the finish line. Victoria Morgan in chat. A. Morgan is Alex. I don't know what I've been calling him. My apologies if I've got it wrong. So Alex Morgan currently in first, as I have probably made a howler there for the last half an hour. We await the start of race 2. I need to wait for the green light to get us our camera angles back, as we now await the start of race 2, round 2 here on Super Sprint Sunday. The tension rises, always the butterflies in the stomach for myself at this point. We have Morgan on the right, Clegg on the left, and the green, we're underway. As we quickly return to garage to give us full use of the camera controls, we have them now. As they come underway, look at that spectacular shot as they come up through El Rouge and Radion. But Morgan again, absolutely flawless at the start. Dan Naisbitt second. Sorry, Dan Clegg second, my apologies. Naisbitt's dropped a position into fourth. And this is where the action happens at the back, towards you go further back towards the grid. Absolute carnage happening as they all the cars. Constantina up, De Vita's round the outside, the three abreast as they come through Lacombe. And again, it's very, very clean driving from most. Nobody looked to have been involved in any incidents. Car 85 has now left the pits. Morgan's still out in front, Clegg second, and Mackinnon in P3. As they now fly down on the run to Pouon. The two cars side by side there, it looked like, as they all the way in. Yellow flags out. Don Javier spun at the corner with no name. They're full abreast into Fangio here. Camilleri, Palmer, and we've got one of the SBR cars side by side with the McLaren. That looks like, who is that? Can't be Clayton, surely. Clayton's not that far back, is he? And Clayton's further ahead. Got a car off there as well, car 23. Car 23 is off the track. That's Crunch Inkin. So Crunch Inkin's now lost a position all the way back there. Don Javier's off again at Pouon, and he's returned to the pits. He's taken the tow truck. So as they come down into the bus stop, now we've got some action just behind this lot here. Look at the and there's contact, that's the Vita, and there's a big pile up there at the bus stop chicane as they all try and get through the tyre wall. That looks like Stu Rogers, Jack Prentice. And I think they've got the Audi off Grafe there as well involved in that one. Some other slow moving cars further back. Luke Richings in the pits looking to repair the damage. Very long pit lane here at Spa. Mulnix is now alongside, who have we got there? On board with Mulnix now. He's behind Tom Hacker. Big confidence lift needed through El Rouge and Radion over the crest. Mulnix now under pressure from the AMG Mercedes. Ferrari versus Mercedes down the back straight, down the Kemmel straight. Who can be the last of the late breakers? Prentice backs out of it, and the brakes on that Ferrari are superior. Look at these guys, they're 2x2 coming through the com now, and the action does not stop. You want action, we'll give you action. Absolutely no doubt about that here on Super Sprint Sunday nights. Big crash further back. Who have we had there? That is a 4 car, and they're all rejoining very dangerously. That looked like Hacker, Prentice. Is that Mulnix? Mulnix involved as well, and the Vita. So Mulnix maybe lost a position there. Eden is so close. We've got not sure who that is behind, and the two Ferraris fighting out. That is absolutely certain. Is that Barna? Eden and Barna now side by side, and they make contact through the Fangio chicane. And that's Harvey off the back of them now, and they're going to be swallowed up. There's so much going on here at the start of race 2. It's been absolute carnage that we've missed the two cars in the pit lane, the 104 car and the 85 car. Now just beginning to rejoin the track as Eden is under pressure. Barna running wide as well, just up ahead. The front three are still in the same order. They've not missed out anything there, thankfully, but look at these guys as they fly through Blanchimont. Some of them just cutting the inside curb. That'll unsettle the car as they come now into the bus stop chicane. Rogers just behind there. Stu Rogers thinks about a move on the inside of the Vita. And they are fighting very, very hard in the opening stages here of race 2. A little bit of side-by-side action going on there. Self-on-time defending from Iliev. Iliev almost loses a position to the Audi of Grafe behind. Townsend in the Pink Panther currently running in P25. So quick recap then. Well, we've got a quick 2 seconds. Alex Morgan currently in first place with the fastest lap of the race so far. Of course, the extra couple of the championship points for the fastest lap. That will help him in his bid to become Super Sprint Pro Champion. Dan Clegg running in second. Juho Mäkinen, the flying Finn in P3. Dan Nesbitt leading silver class on about 20 minutes of sleep last night. Great job from them. Luca in P5. Clayton running 6th on track. Walsh 7th. Law doing much better this time out in P8. Camilleri in P9 on track. 2nd in class. Mihuka in P10. Barner in 11th and Harvey 12th. I've just been given a notification by my smartwatch to relax as my stress levels are apparently high. Such is the action here at Formula Racing League. Sim racing at its very best. Bit of a train now forming behind Harvey. A lot of cars backed up there as well. Naisbitt's backed up Luca. Luca in looking to get ahead, no pun intended, off the silver class leader, the 242, the Iron Lynx car, to try and chase down Juho Mäkinen. They got away from him a bit last time out. On board with Harvey, looking backwards, and you'll just see a sea of lights as we come into La Source. Does Barna think about it? Not this time. He's taking a wider line, try and maximise his exit speed as we come onto this. It really is the best, in my opinion, this is the best corner in the world. I don't care what anyone says. As they fly through this section, look how he's ran over, and they've both had a little bit of a sketchy moment. That's going to put him under pressure, and now we are going to get the action. The helicopter catches them, they're almost three abreast. Hacker backs out of it, thinks better of it. They both go very deep into the comm, and that looks like Harvey has made the move. We've got yellow flags out a little bit further back. Car 43 has been off at Radion. That's Luke Prentice. Luke Prentice has been off at Radion. That's maybe his race going to be over as he takes the tow truck back to the pits. Naisbitt is let Luca pass, and he's now got Josh Clayton on his rear end. I'm sure Naisbitt was criticised for taking the old Ferrari, the Ferrari 488, but I have to say it's a much nicer looking Ferrari. The two of them there, the yellow car and the one behind, I much prefer the look of the older Ferrari. I'm glad it's back. It's great to see it on track. So let's see what's going on here. Barna. And there's the action just behind. Malnick's defending. It looks like from De Vita and Hacker moving down the field. This is getting very tasty indeed. As they fly through this treacherous section, to be honest, Blanchimont is not an overtaking move as that Bentley drifts at 150 miles per hour. He's side by side, and look how close they are. The Bentley didn't think it was going to get stopped in time. The front of that car looks like an aircraft carrier. It is an absolute monster. But Jack Prentice making up about 4 positions in 2 corners. We've got a car off there. That is the 106. That's Barna. Barna's been off, and he's now going through the pits. He's in the pit lane now. And we've also got yellow flags out for Grafe. Grafe is off track. He looks like he's maybe spun. Coming out of Blanchimont. He's steering his Rubicon board there. We see his wheel fully turned. Nothing's happening. It would be advisable to take the tow truck back to the pits in that situation. Now he has done. Great. So I should explain. By take the tow truck, what I mean is, for anyone maybe not familiar with Assetto Corsa, I'm going to come back to that explanation in a second. Car 23, Krajinkin has been in the wall at the top of El Rouge and Radion as well. So El Rouge Radion catching out a lot of these drivers this evening. So I will now explain. No, I won't. We'll watch this action first. As they come into Pujon now. Tom Hacker on your screen in the 101 McLaren. Rogers, Prentice, Hacker, Trotman and McCann. But Iliev joined on the back of this battle now as well. Trying to keep track. I'm trying to work out what's happened here. Prentice has got a little bit of a gap. There we go. Let this order sort itself out. De Vita's been off. Right, okay. It's now updated. The driver tracker on the left updated itself. I can fully understand the situation. Rogers leads Trotman, leads Hacker, leads McCann, leads Iliev. None of which have more than a 0.6 of a second gap. And there's a big crash at the back! Somebody's been off at Radion. Who is that? Is that De Vita? No, it's... Who is it? Car 101, that's Hacker. It is Hacker. Tom Hacker's been off track. He's done a big crash at Blanchimont. that might be his race done for this evening. I don't know if that one will get fixed. A lot of cars being caught out this evening. Walsh and Law battling side by side into Lecombe. That's Law. No, it's not. Sorry, that's Walsh. Who is that? That's Clayton. No. I've lost track of who's who in this race. This has been an absolute nightmare to keep track of. Law has got a very similar livery, it looks like, to Clayton, at least under the cover of darkness. Law is in P7 and just got past Walsh. Yes, that's what's happened. Oh! Dear me, what's going on there? That's Gedman going past Serpentine up the inside of the final part of Lecombe. Is that Harry Palmer on the inside of Serpentine now as well? It is indeed, and he's got through as they approach the corner with no name. So what's happened to Serpentine? Car looks like it's running okay just now. Yeah, seems like it's running alright just now, so I don't know really what's happened there too much. So Paul Trotman is on the back end of Rogers. Trotman in the Lamborghini, Rogers in the McLaren, the purple and lime green McLaren. Both very experienced drivers here, battling down in P15 on the track, but this in class is actually for 5th in class, which will help both of their championships. That is absolutely certain. So this track is laid out in such a way that the slightest mistake is punished, because there's always a long straight afterwards, so any mistake you make is pronounced and it's exaggerated. It looks like Trotman is looking very racy here as he comes down the hill towards El Rouge and Radion. Again, a lot of confidence left. Rogers playing fast and loose with the track limits. The extra speed he's got from doing that. Car 13 up ahead has been slow. That's Camilleri. He's been off track, but he's rejoined safely. At this point in time, the Lamborghini looks like it has a bit more pace. This battle is heating up. Look at him, he's really hounding that Lamborghini. He pulls out, does he? He's not going to make a move, surely. Not on this corner, not into Pujon, absolutely not. That's not a move you want to be making. So, I'm going to take this opportunity now, for anyone who's watching who may be new to Assetto Corsa or Formula Racing League, just to explain what taking the tow truck back to the pits means. If you crash, hit the pause button or the start button. There is an option to return to garage, which takes you to the pit lane and freezes your controls for a couple of minutes. And sometimes that is the better option than trying to drive back to the pits with a heavily damaged car. But to remember, of course, all stewarding in this race is done post-race, so all penalties could be given at the end. You don't want to get yourself involved with someone else's crash, with an accident and a crash because your car's damaged. Here we've got McCann being overtaken by De Vita. That's for position. Townsend, of course, just tucked in behind. Up into P20, so Townsend's moved up through the grid. He's made a couple of positions from the start. He was 24th when we last checked in on him. Molnix is absolutely hounding, or being hounded rather, by, who is that? Is that Camilleri? It is. So Molnix somewhere between La Source and here is overtaken Camilleri and up into P12. As the driver tracker will just adjust itself now. There it is. Good drive by the American, moving up into third in class. I would love to see actually what Molnix can do with a quiet room in sim racing. The last couple of times he's been on board, he's been having home improvements or something done in the background, not quite sure what's going on, but he's been racing with a lot of background noise. I'm very impressed that he's able to keep his concentration. We're now nearly at the halfway point. We're 22 minutes into the race. Morgan's still out in front, Alex Morgan, who's been absolutely flying, such to the point of doing his, again, for the second weekend of running, his best Max Verstappen impression of just going out in front and deciding he doesn't want to play well with others. Behind Dan Clegg, making up for his let's call it subpar performance at round 1 at Kailani last time out. Currently running in P2, Mäkinen in P3, about a second and a half behind. There's the gap there, not very much between those two at all. Luca currently running in P4, having a great job so far, coming off the back of course of a second place Turn 1 Sim Racing, finishing in second and third in Formula Racing League's 8 hours off Monza. Luca of course taking second, being part of the second place team, so he'll be looking to build on that performance. Clayton currently running in 5th, with Law now up into 6th. Dan Naisbitt, as we said, operating off a very limited sleep schedule as it stands, still lapping very quickly, up in first in class of course, 7th on track just now. And then a bit of a gap behind there, we've got Walsh in P8, Mihulka in P9, and Gareth Harvey second in class, but rounding off the top 10 on track. Eden in P11, Molnix 12th, looking for another podium, back-to-back podiums for the American. Jack Prentice in the Bentley had a much better performance this time around. Camilleri looks to be falling back, maybe he's got some damage. Is there any damage on the front of that car? It doesn't look to be performing the best. Oh yes, big chunk of BMW somewhere lying around the Ardennes Forest here in Belgium.
We are at the halfway mark, keep pushing.
Italian Jeff letting us now know we're at the halfway mark. Thank you very much for that one. Stu Rogers in the 512 McLaren, currently running 15th, 5th in class, looks to be going past Camilleri now. Again, no obligation to let him past. We're on board with Rogers. So let's see what's going on. We can see the front headlights of the BMW flickering. That's obviously causing damage. And that'll be causing quite a bit of front downforce, a loss of front downforce. You know, of course Rogers needs to be careful because Eliev's at the back, ready to pounce. Rogers round the outside before we get to Blanchimont, but what's that going to do for Eliev? Is Eliev going to be held up as the BMW moves out of the way, or at least runs wide anyway? Eliev hard on the brakes, nearly into the back of him goes the BMW as the BMW makes his way into the pits. He's decided he's had enough of trying to wrestle that car around this track, of all tracks of course, such a long way back to the pit lane. So this is Townsend now up to P19, another position for Townsend. Making his way through this fabled track. Yellow flag out, showing for car 77. Here's car 77, that's Eliev. Eliev's been off. We just left them. They've been off at La Source. What's happened there? Trying to keep track of what's going on here. Has Rogers been off? He's going very slowly as an Englishman. Because Townsend has just passed him. Now Townsend up into P17. So maybe Rogers and Iliev having a coming together at La Source. And that one will absolutely find its way in the steward's room. I have no doubt with that one. So let's have a look up ahead. Let's see what's going on. Mackinnon's now 8 tenths behind Clegg. Clayton is 5 tenths, so half a second. I think there's some lapped cars maybe just being navigated by the leaders now. But this is opening the door for Clayton. Let's come on board with Clayton actually in the 500 Ferrari in the Sector Blitz racing car. Let's watch him actually through La Source and up the hill all the way to Le Combe. Listen to the engine of this Ferrari. Does he lift? It becomes over the crest into Radion. Little confidence left. That tells me these tyres are beginning to get a little bit second hand. 16 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Story of the race is Alex Morgan has just decided to go full Verstappen mode and full beast mode actually, and just pull out a 6-second gap. Dan Clegg's been solid in P2. He's got Mackinnon. Hugo Mackinnon is just not letting him out of his sights. The Flying Finn determined to take the second spot on the podium. Lasco Luca is behind and 8 seconds further back, but he's been off. Clayton's been off. Clayton got past Luca, then went off at the corner with no name. So that's punished him, unfortunately. Luca's still fourth. Clayton fifth. Clayton went straight on at Pujon. Does he have damage? Can't tell from any of the camera angles we have. Or has Luca got damage actually? Maybe Luca's the one who's suffering with the lack of downforce. The back of his car looks a little bit sketchy actually. Law, they have been off. They've been off. Luca and Clayton's been off track. Law is now showing in P4. Dan Naisbitt fifth on track. Yep, that's what's happened there. Walsh is now on the back of these two. Maybe they're suffering a bit of damage. Luca is definitely struggling with drag. His straight line speeds is not the best. He's hit the curb and he's maybe lost the car. He's spun on the exit and he needs to be careful. He's got a bit of time to get the car recovered. Can he do so before anyone else comes round? No, he can't, as Mihulka and Co come flying round Blanchimont. He's got a bit of a gap now. He is going to rejoin in 11th on track, just in front of Eden. Sorry, Mulnix. Does he go in the pits? His back end's all over the place. He's opted to continue. He's got 14 minutes to go. Only time will tell if that is indeed the best option. But Luca again involved with an accident as we enter the dying moments of a race weekend. Of course, involved in a couple of accidents, not really his fault last week as well. After showing some tremendous pace, this kid's got talent, there's no doubt about that, and I fully expect to see him on the podium at some point in this season. Mulnix now closing the gap on him, indeed he's alongside already. Move done. Next is Prentice is going to make the move on Luca. You see him battling with his steering wheel, actually. You can see just the work that goes in, a twitch on the front of the car, that really is. No, look at the back of the car. That rear diffuser is just waving all over the track. Look at it. He's lost the veer. He's going to have to go in the pits. That car has got no rear grip whatsoever as John Javier now coming round to unlap himself. The back end of that car's got nothing left to give. He's going to have to go in the pits. So I think De Vita has been passed by a couple of cars now as well. So Townsend is going to move up into P17, P16 I think. As is Palmer. Both of these guys just kind of holding each other's hand as they come through the field. Naisbitt's off. Yellow flag showing down at the bus stop for the Ferrari driver. The Iron Lynx car's had a little spin. He's not lost position, but that has brought Harvey right back into play. Sorry, everyone has a little bit of issue with my seating position there. I'm back comfortable again. So, what is the gap now between Naisbitt and Harvey? It's only about 6 or 7 seconds, it looks like. As Harvey's been currently tucked in behind Mihoka. What is going on here? That looks like a move. That is Townsend passing Palmer, or defending from Palmer as they come down the Kemmel Straight. Townsend now into P15. Have a look through the field. Don Javier's back driving. Hacker has definitely thrown in the towel for this evening, as has Barner. Grafe maybe will rejoin. We'll keep an eye on that. Dybriel is out on track as well in the 85. Lamborghini. Konchinkin has rejoined a couple of laps down too. He's got a car just behind him. So who's battle at the back here? Is that Trotman? That's Trotman coming through to lap. How's Trotman getting on actually? Trotman currently running P13. Not a bit on his own at the moment. He's got the lap car in front of him, of course, but generally speaking on his own. So up ahead, Harvey really is pushing Mihoka now. Desperate to get past and close in on Naisbitt. He senses Naisbitt might be struggling a little bit. Clayton definitely, Harvey definitely looks like he is up for a fight this evening. Naisbitt's just over the top at Ravion now. So it's not a big gap, definitely something I've seen. Oh, let's jump up to the front actually. This is the battle for second. This is Clegg, Dan Clegg and Joho Mäkinen as they come out of the corner with no name. On board with the post driver, Hu Puom. See both of the drivers just sliding that little bit more. that gap looks to now have stabilised a little bit. One gap it does I am interested in though is this one with Mihuka and Harvey, because Harvey has made his way past the Lamborghini and is now free. Car 4 is now free to charge down car 242, 8.7 seconds with 7 minutes to go. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on there. Other battles through the field, it looks like what's happened. Yellow flags out for car 85, that is Dalbriel, who's been off again at the top of El Rouge. Slow moving car as the leader finds his way through that one. What's happened to Palmer and Townsend? So Palmer's there, Townsend's just behind, so Palmer's got past. Palmer up into P15. Trotman just ahead, of course. So these guys still kind of in a little bit of a trail. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Yellow flags off ahead. What big crash going on up ahead. Who is that? That's car 33. And they're very slow on track. Don't know who that is back there. Car 33 at 21. Can't work out who it is. The 77. Car 77. Is that Iliev? Maybe. Car 33 definitely involved. I think it was that car just in front actually. That's Don Javier. Don Javier. And we've got two cars side by side. Is that Iliev? Sorry, who is that? It's Palmer. Palmer's got past someone else. That is Trotman. Trotman flies over it. Rouge gets very squirmy on the rear. On board with the Lamborghini, the Aston Martin's just going to move away. It's that much more powerful. Lamborghini does not have an answer, at least not this time, for the raw power of the Aston Martin. But look at it here as it comes through this twisty section of the comp. If you think about it, down the inside, a move down here is dangerous but can work. He backs out of it. He's taken an early apex and he's tucked himself back in for the corner with no name. The back end of that Aston Martin looks very squirrely indeed. Through Pujon. As I said earlier on in the show, when I take part in Taco Tuesday, on Tuesday evening, I will be driving the Lamborghini around here. It does look like it's going to be soaking wet for that one. That race will be streamed as well on this channel. My counterpart for Taco Tuesday will be doing the commentary for that one. Don't miss out on that one. That starts around about 8:15. Tom Cairns will be leading the commentary team for that one. Of course, we do have some events coming up at FRL as well as we enter the final couple of laps here. As Mackinnon's really still on the back end of Clegg. He looks to be a little bit faster through the first part of the track, and Clegg begins to move away towards the second part. Keep an eye, of course, on the gap between Naisbitt and Harvey. We wait the driver tracker to update us on that gap. It's now 9.3, so Naisbitt's moving away. Maybe it's turned on the afterburners a little bit when needed. So yeah, coming up on FRL, we do have Taco Tuesday. That's every Tuesday evening. We'll be here again at Spa. We've got Late Night Thursday series, which features a one-shot qualifying, 5-minute qualifying session with every driver only having one attempt to set a lap. One and done. We also have coming up as well, I think it's the 17th of February, the Donington Park 4 hours endurance race, team driver swap. That's with Formula Racing League as well. You can find the details how to sign up for that. Get your team involved at thesimgrid.com. So 3 minutes and 25 seconds remain. We're probably going to get maybe 2 more laps. Yellow flags out. Car 77 That's Iliev at Ravage. Has went off track. Would have come into the source with these two battling for the final spot on the podium. Clegg has pulled himself out there. A very good exit. We'll see if the toe, the slipstream effect that we talk about pretty much every single race, has any impact. The Porsche, of course, we know is not the best car in the straight line, but the extra downforce it has with that massive parcel shelf off a real ring will be helping him keep his back end planted through Radeon, but it's not enough down the straight this time around. Clegg still holding out strong. Alex Morgan still out in front, nearly 10 seconds out ahead. Let's give him a little bit of screen time. He does deserve it. He's been absolutely epic pretty much all race and not been on camera because he's just that fast. But he's coming round there again. He's doing his best Verstappen impression. I keep mentioning this. He's out in front. He gets pole position. He gets fastest lap. And he is on, as it stands just now, for another double win for round 2. Commentator's curse, please prove me wrong. We're on board with Mackin, and look how close it is as we enter the dying embers of this race. Clegg has to get defensive. Now this is going to put him on the back foot. Only one line through here, of course, but Clegg struggling. That Lamborghini is looking like an absolute menace to deal with. Naismith's got himself in front of Walsh a little bit further back. But look at that there, the straight line speed of the Porsche just cannot match the Lamborghini's straight line speed. The leader now starts the fastest, the final lap of the race, as does Alex Morgan round La Source for the final time. That looks very close to the inside wall there. It's something like that. That's the only thing I think is going to stop him from completing his race this evening. McCann's under pressure. I think Palmer's just went past. Trotman falling back. Townsend as well. Now got Iliev behind him. Car 101 moving very slow in the Kemmel Straight. That's Hackers rejoined the race to take the checkered flag. That's always nice to see. Iliev's moved past Townsend, so Townsend now in P17. Walsh has just been taken by Naismith. We've seen that one as well. But it's the battle for P2 that's looking very tasty just now. Mäkinen is on the back of Clegg, desperate to make himself inroads in to get this podium. So a little further back as well, we've got Eden pushing Mihulka. Battles all the way down the field for us to try and keep us entertained and keep us on our toes to the checkered flag. Everyone in front of these guys now starting the final lap. Look at the closing speed of that Porsche into the Fangio chicane. Is it going to be enough to make the difference? Lapped car, Gedman getting out of the way there. They're both having to be compromised. Gedman gets out of the way. That's just unfortunate of catching the car at the wrong part of the track. The Porsche guys still battling very hard, but I think that one's going to be done because it's been Morgan who's took pole position. He's took the race win for race 1 and he's about to take the win for race 2, flashing his lights in celebration.
The leader has finished the race.
Super Sprint Sunday race 2 winner Alex Morgan takes the checkered flag. Dan Clegg is going to just hold out to take P2. Great drive from him. Mäkinen pushed him all the way to the very end. Law had an absolute nightmare in race 1 with a big crash, but redeems himself and takes 4th place. Josh Clayton is currently running in 5th. It's been a good drive from the SBR driver. as he now comes across the line to take 5th on track. Dan Naisbitt, we're running on about 6 seconds of sleep in 6th place, takes 1st in class. Well done, Dan. 7th on track. The Gareth Harvey now coming across the line to take 2nd in class. These two, I think, will be battling all season long. Mihulka 9th, Eden rounds at the top 10. Mulnix has held off Jack Prentice for the last couple of corners and will take 3rd in class. That's a podium for the American. Jack Prentice comes home 12th on track. Palmer's done well as well. He's moved through the field very nicely today. The Aston Martin doing him well. The 207 car coming through, and McCann, it looks like, is holding off Trotman, takes P14. Trotman will be 15th. Iliev comes through the field to take 16th. Solid performance by the Pink Panther, the Welshman, coming home in P17. Rogers been in the wars today. He is still battling Serpentine for a position in silver class. We'll keep an eye on this one actually. This, I think, is the final battle on track. Luca just behind a couple of laps down as well, looking to take the checkered flag. But Serpentine's going to have to settle to finish behind Stu Rogers as they both come across the line in P18 and P19 respectively. Gedman shown as having an 80-second penalty. I don't know what that one is for, but that's going to impact his overall finishing position as he moves down into P26. And that's the end of Super Sprint Sunday Round 2. What a race we've had this evening. So let's just run through the results. Silver class first. Dan Naisbitt is taking the win by 8 seconds over Harvey. Double win for the FRL admin team. Harvey in the SBR car takes 2nd. Mulnix takes 3rd. Palmer 4th. Trotman 5th. Townsend 6th in class with Stu Rogers behind. Serpentine in P8, Stoyanov 9th. Richings 10th. Kronchenkin takes P11, Chris Gedman in P12 with that penalty applied. Grafe in 13th, Don Javier 14th, and Camilleri did not take the checkered flag. Overall then, we have Grace and Wazzer did not finish. Prentice, am I on race 2? I am. Prentice, Luke Prentice, 30, did not finish. Neither did Barnett. Hackers taking the checkered flag. Camilleri 29th, Don Javier 28th, Grafe, Gedman, Dybrale, Luca unfortunate again in race 2, having an incident there. The rear end is not working, had to pit to sort that one out. De Vita 23rd, Kronchenkin 22nd, Richings, Stoyanov, Serpentine, Rogers, Townsend, Iliev, great race through the field. Trotman P15, middle of the pack. McCann 14th. Palmer, great race from them, P13. Jack Prentice in 12th. Mulnix 11th. Eden 10th. Mihulka in P9. Harvey 8th. Naisbitt 7th. Walsh 6th. Clayton 5th. Law in P4. Third place on your podium, we have Juho Mäkinen in the Porsche 992. Second place is Dan Clegg in the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo 2. And the race winner and fastest lap goes to Alex Morgan in the McLaren 720. So, that is us for this evening. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to take a quick second, just want to go over what's coming up on FRL Race Hub on YouTube. So on Tuesday night we have our Taco Tuesday series, the Pro Tier, featuring some of the very best drivers in sim racing on PlayStation 5.
Green light, show them what you got.
They will be participating in the Premium Championship in Formula Racing League, the Taco Tuesday Championship. That starts at 8:15. on at FRL Race Hub on YouTube. On Thursday we have Late Night Thursday. You can see the details how to join that on thesimgrid.com. And of course I will be back for round 3 of the Super Sprint Sunday Championship. Next time out we will be at the Brickyard, the legendary Indianapolis. We go stateside for that one, so do not miss that. That will be a fantastic race. I will be back in the comments box for that one, 7:45 next Sunday, so do not forget to join us. Put that one in your calendar. I will be back then. Thank you very much from everyone at the Formula Racing League team. Until next time, take care. We'll see you then. Good night.